Hello, everyone. I'm Meredith,
Oh,
and welcome to Conversations with Friends. If you've been with us maybe from earlier times over the last few years, we've had a lot of artists. People from all kinds of fields and things that they're involved with. We've had a lot of artists on the program, but this is a first. Today, we're having someone that oversees an entire organization and that has to do with helping artists and supporting the artists of South Florida. So I'm really happy to introduce you to Jackie Kamin, who is she's the executive director, I should
I'm
say.
president.
I know I was going to say, yes, the president. I scribbled it, and yes, she's the president of Funding Arts Network. And Funding Arts Network is a local organization that's been around for, I want to say, about 20, 25 years. And what they're all about is, and we're going to hear more, is really supporting many, many artists in South Florida with the many kinds of things that they do. And Jackie, wait till I tell you about her background. It's a lot, but I think you need to know where she's coming from and what she's accomplished over the years. So I'm going to just read a few things, not everything, Jackie. Welcome to the program, Jackie, because we'd be here all day. Okay. She's a graduate of Barnard College and University of Virginia School of Law. She was General Counsel to the New York City Department of Consumer Affairs, and in the field of public education, she was president of parent associations at the school, district, and city-wide levels, represented Manhattan. See what I'm talking about? This is a lot. Represented Manhattan on the New York City panel for educational policy, and worked at Advocates for Children of New York City and the Opportunity Charter School. She served as an administrative law judge in the New York City Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings for 12 years. And there's a lot more that she's done, but I'm going to stop there, okay? Because again, as I said, we don't want to be here. I don't want you to be here all day or all night, right? Jackie, when I hear about you and all that you've done and I see what you do, and I should also say that I am a very proud member of FAN. I remember when they asked me years ago if I wanted to join, it was, I'm too busy, I can't do this. And then one day I said, no, I'm not too busy. I want to be part of this organization. So for starters, tell me about FAN. I know, but they
My
don't.
pleasure.
And what the main purpose of it is.
Well, FAN was started 29 years ago, actually, by a group of women at the time. Debbie Hoffman continues to be a member. She was the founding president of FAN, and she's a very active member, actually. I speak to her frequently. And their mission was to enhance the cultural environment of Miami. Now, 29 years ago, there were not the opportunities to see art, to hear art, and experience it that we have now. And FAN was started to give grants to programs in the arts. So these women developed a program where volunteers would go out and visit the premises of the applicants who applied for grants and talk with their leaders and decide whether that was an organization that we wanted to support for that particular program. They get together and they vote on it. And so it's all volunteers. We have a part-time secretary and a part-time web person. That's it. Otherwise, we do everything for nothing.
It amazes me because, to run something like this, which does really, really call for a lot of organizational kinds of things, usually you have some kind of a staff. And I have been in on a lot of meetings, and I'm amazed at the involvement of the members, and especially the members that take on positions, because there is a lot to deal with, a lot of detail, isn't it? It isn't just, okay, we give out grants. I mean,
it kind of is, because we are a donor circle. So the money we give away, we raise from our members. It's $1,200 at present to be an individual member. You can be a duet member and have your spouse or a child or a relative join with you for a package of $1,800. And that money goes into the grant pool. And we're fortunate this year to have 222 members. We're giving away this year 22 grants of $10,000 apiece to different programs that have just been selected by the volunteers who did the work. And will be approved by our board, of course. And what else was I going to say about that? We are also this year starting a very exciting program for us. We are giving out an additional group of $5,000 grants, one to each genre: dance, music, theater, and visual arts, for community impact. And those grants, applicants could apply for that separately, and they have to show that they're benefiting their community by offering a program for free to the community and discussing with us the impact that the program will have. So we're excited about that. Those applications are going out to all our members, and our members will have a very long ballot, I suppose, to look at, but their involvement is really important. We want our members to understand what's going on in the community and to have a say in where fan money goes to support those programs.
It is very impressive because it's so hard, as we all know, for arts organizations today to be able to survive. And the fact that you include so many of the smaller organizations. So what a small organization gets, maybe for a big one, it's not, I don't want to say it's not as important. Everybody really appreciates any kind of funding that they get. But for a small organization, it, can really provide like an entire program or, something that they could never have afforded to do if they didn't get the grant from FAN.
We actually require the organizations that apply to us to send us their budget numbers. We only give to organizations that have been functioning as a nonprofit for 3 years in Miami-Dade. So we do get organizations that are smaller, but nonetheless very organized and very established in their fields. It's a wonderful way to learn about those organizations, honestly, for members.
Yeah, and they do get a chance to learn about those organizations.
Yes,
don't
absolutely.
they? First, I want to also talk about something very special that FAN offers, which is the cultural camaraderie. So not only are there people that get to go out and meet these organizations and see what they do and see if, they feel that they're, would be good for a grant and everything, but there's all kinds of activities happening all year. And sadly, I don't ever have enough time to go to all of them. I try to go to some of them, but there's so many. So tell us about what that's all.
We give, as I say, between 20 and 25 grants a year. This year it's 22. Right. And we ask each grantee to work with us to find a date that FAN members can come as a group. We buy our own tickets, so we don't take any perquisites, any freebies.
No freebies
from the organizations. Yeah. But we get together a group that brings them audience and creates word of mouth for the program. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And oftentimes we'll have a dinner or a lunch beforehand and chat about it afterwards and bring that information to our friends and family. So hopefully we're supporting the organization in that way as well as giving the grant.
Yeah, and you are supporting the people that are involved because people feel like they are part of something. So again, it isn't just like, you give some money to be a member or to join something, and that's fine. But you really, FAN really, the way I see it, how I've experienced it is, excuse me, you involve people, they get to know each other. And today, the word is, the big word is community. People are lacking in community, at all levels. That's and everything today. Right. People need to feel like they're part of something. So I feel that FAN does that in a very beautiful way, a very special way that it involves, it involves the people, and it's to whatever extent. Nobody's like pushing you or forcing you to go to anything.
Nobody's pushing you.
Right.
I
No.
mean, if you want to just maximize your philanthropic dollars and give the 1,200 to us, and we'll spread it out among 4 different disciplines, and if you don't want to go to anything, that's fine too. But our tagline is where friends meet to support the arts, and that's kind of what we do. We give our money and we give our time and our enthusiasm, and we get educated about what's going on in Miami. And we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. So it is like you feel like you're part of something. You feel like you're doing
Yes,
something,
yes, and you are. I mean, it
right?
is one thing that is that I think says a lot about FAN is that we have the larger organizations as well as the smaller organizations apply. And if
Mhm.
you think about some of these larger organizations with multi-million-dollar budgets, what is a $10,000 grant to them?
Mhm.
And we've asked that question whenever we go to screen
Yeah.
their application.
What do they
And the
say?
answer is always because you, at 29 years old, you are recognized in the community as a good housekeeping seal of approval, basically. So they want the imprimatur that Funding Arts Network funding gives them.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's true. You know what I love is the luncheons where they give out,
Yes.
well, not all the luncheons. I mean, at the end of the year, give out the awards. Yeah, that's the one that I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
You see people from the biggest organizations there have come,
Yes.
and then you see people that are,
Mhm.
not starting out. You say they have to be doing something for a few years, but the smaller ones, and they're so proud to be with the big organizations. They feel like they're part of
Yes.
something.
They enjoy the mixing for sure, and our members really enjoy meeting them as well.
Yeah, and I know whenever I've told people about FAN, it's like anybody in the arts world knows FAN, knows Funding
Yes, that's
Network. So
true.
it's got a good reputation
Hmm.
and a feeling like
We're
people
very
feel
proud.
that they want to be close to FAN.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it just is something that it's and especially now at its time, because I know and I've heard, so much we all know, and I know you've sent out letters about the
Hmm.
arts are really suffering right now. A lot of things have been cut,
Yes.
from the state
Hmm.
of Florida. I mean, I don't want to get into, all of this, but
I think we know that.
right.
Everybody
It's
listening to this probably has read so many articles about
articles.
how
How,
tough it is for
yeah.
grants for
But the
organizations.
arts are so important, and I want to just talk about that a little bit, because some people might think, oh, the arts, I like to go to a show once in a while, or somebody
Hmm.
might feel, or somebody's coming, an art show that they hear about
Hmm.
or something. But it's more than that. The arts have a way, and I think probably throughout history, right, of
Sure.
really having an effect on a community. And
Sure.
I mean, when you go back to, even, I don't want to say ancient times, but older times, in the past, the
Mhm.
arts really help a community thrive. And when people support
Mhm.
the arts, good things happen in a community. So just maybe
Absolutely.
speak about that, that why it's important. And again, I'm not telling people, oh, to support the art, or just to be, even to go to plays, to
Mhm.
go to
Mhm.
an art show, to it's how good it feels and how good it is for you, for the person that goes. Sometimes people think they
Sure.
don't have enough time, but they do, right?
Do you have time to have a cup of coffee and read the paper? Do you have time to
Mm,
go to the gym to exercise? You
yeah,
make time for what you feel you need and what feeds your
yeah,
soul. And the
yeah.
arts, I mean, whatever art speaks to you particularly is just such an incredible enrichment of your life. So we want to make sure that Miami offers that. And I think the fact that we do have a burgeoning arts community really lifts Miami up as a city. You're not a major city unless you have these exciting things going on. You're just not. And we know what kind of economic impact the arts have in this city as well.
It's interesting because the image of South Florida was for so many years, and I grew up here, so I do
Hmm.
remember,
Yeah,
was, yeah, it's a sleepy city, not much is going on down here, right? I have to go to New
sure.
York, and we'll talk about you coming
Uh-huh.
from New York, that people really felt like this is not where it's at, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there've always been artists here, there's always been people, but
Mhm.
nothing like today, right? I mean, how
Oh
much
my
there
gosh.
is today.
Yeah, when we're from New York, of course, and
Yes.
when we talked to our friends about coming down here, almost to a person, they said, "Well, what are you going to do down there?" and now I can barely have an evening to just sit around and watch TV.
Right.
Last night we were at the Israeli Philharmonic, which was amazing. It was an incredible performance.
Mhm.
Then I won't even list all the things going on between theater and concerts and the visual arts exhibitions. You don't have to be bored here ever. You
Ever,
really
yeah.
don't.
So you were shocked when you came down. Well, you came down, you
Well,
had
you know what,
a
especially joining FAN, we decided to come down to Miami because it was my husband's real push to come to Miami because it has the three things he loves. It has a beach, it has a city, and it has an opera.
Oh, look at that.
And so that was his main motivation, and I'm kind of along for the ride. And
Yeah.
coming down, I really was concerned that how am I going to occupy myself? Um, and when we were at a dinner, at an arts opera dinner,
Mm.
I sat next to a woman and I was expressing this to her, and she is a longtime FAN member, and she said, "Well, you must join FAN." And that's Marilyn Behrens. Thank you, Marilyn, for bringing me in.
Yeah.
And yeah, through FAN, I've discovered more than opera around our city, and met a lot of really interesting and exciting people. I mean, the members that we have are, uh, because they're passionate about the arts, you can imagine what their backgrounds. They're sophisticated people. They're interesting people.
Well, I'm looking at the list. I actually brought it somewhere here, but I won't look for it right now on my table here. But some of them are really distinguished writers and
Yes,
artists in South Florida. These are
absolutely.
people that have been written up in magazines, and
Oh,
they're,
absolutely.
they're well-known people. So you can go and be sitting with
Mhm.
somebody and you go, "What do you do?" And the person goes, "I've written a best-selling book," or really,
Yeah, it is interesting.
uh, it's a very interesting group of people, and we're talking about women, and it is women, which is a beautiful thing, women coming together. I think that's, throughout history,
Well,
that has happened. But
traditional,
there are men that are
well,
very,
and we're really reaching out to have a more diverse
yeah.
kind of population. We love to have men members, and every year we get more. We get one or two more, which is
Mhm.
really enriching for us.
Yeah.
But throughout history, women have been the ones who did work for nothing,
Hmm.
did valuable work. When I
Hmm.
was in New York, when I was raising my children, I did volunteer work for the civil division of the um, what's the free legal aid, the
Legal
Civil
aid,
Division
yeah,
of
yeah.
legal aid. Yeah, and it was amazing to me that there's this infrastructure of women who get together and figure out how to raise money to make good things happen.
Mm.
And it's the truth down here as well. But as we get quite a few retirees, they have time to give to an effort like this. So we are getting more men. And we're getting some young women who have children that are now fortunately in school, so they can do something during the day. And it's an exciting place to be right now, I think.
And you do really feel like you're part of something, as I said. I mean,
Yes,
you feel like
we
you're
are.
part of a community. And
Mhm,
again, more than ever, I really, really feel that word community is
mhm.
is the way to
Yeah.
feel, not to lose your hope in the world or society or
Mhm,
feel things are bad in the world, whatever, for whatever reasons that
mhm.
you feel like, I'm part of something good,
Yeah.
or I'm
And
involved
now that we
in good
can
things.
get together in person, we're really roaring
Yes.
back after COVID. This last year has been terrific in terms of people going to the programs that we have, the community, the camaraderies that you mentioned,
Yeah.
coming to our luncheons.
Mhm.
Everybody is just so happy to be back together and sharing that.
Yeah, and I'll just give a plug for the luncheons, because I've been lucky enough to get involved in the last year with the
Uh-huh.
programs. We do programs at the luncheons, where we invite speakers, so you do get to hear, or even some music. We have, some really interesting music, and I think that's also something. You get to
For
not just
sure.
have lunch or meet people, but
Well, let's spotlight the last one, Meredith, that you put together when
yeah.
we had a program at our luncheon on how music heals. Or you tell me, you describe it.
Yeah, the healing power of the arts.
That's what it was.
And I didn't even realize myself I wanted to do this, but I wasn't sure how many things are out there. And I mean, like, Baptist Hospital has a whole program people might not even realize. And we had the main person that's organizing that with the whole arts division, because they feel that the arts actually, there's a lot of research now, help heal people, from cancer and other diseases, that there's something about the arts that puts people into a different state and healing takes place. I mean, it's actual research. It isn't like, oh, it's, a nice thing
like woo woo.
To entertain people. And
But it was entertaining too, though, because at the end we had this wonderful musician and his helpers who had us close our eyes and just experience a sound bathing. What would you call it?
yeah, that's a good word. Sound baby. It's with drumming, and it's the kind of the healing
Drumming and
of a
gongs,
certain, kind of
little
drums
bells.
and sounds, and we experienced that together, which was
Yes, that was
really,
great. We were
when
so
you do it together,
relaxed
it's different
afterwards.
than listening to, something on,
Yeah,
on
yes.
YouTube or
Yeah.
whatever. To experience together is, yeah.
People came out of that luncheon just beaming and complimenting it. So congratulations for that.
That's nice. Thank you for that. And I just want to also say about you, you have really been a person that's just committed to community from your,
Thank
from
you.
your
Yes.
first days, from law school to being an attorney to being such an activist person in New York City. So would you say that you've always, I mean, I didn't even name all the things that you've done, that you've been involved with.
Oh, wow.
I named a few, but have you always had that yearning to say, in order to feel full? And you have 4 kids too, so it's not like you weren't busy and you worked. And so did you always feel like in order to feel complete, you needed to do something, kind of for the world or for the community, let's say?
Well, I really like to be active. I
Yeah.
don't like to be bored,
Mhm.
and I don't have any hobbies. I don't knit. I don't play an instrument. I don't do ballet. So I like to find activities that seem to be worthwhile and are interesting to me. And so in New York, that was especially, you can imagine, with 4 kids, public education was a huge thing for me, and
Yeah.
I was excited to be part of that effort there.
And you accomplished a lot, you
Well,
really
I
did
mean, I was involved in a lot. I'll say that it was an
a
interesting
lot.
time, but the
Yeah.
main thing is the children survived their education and are often launched, so they're great.
That's good.
And legal aid, of course, is so important, and yeah, we have that down here as well. I hope everybody is interested in supporting legal aid as well.
Sure. I mean, that's
Anyway,
not even just important, it's
yeah,
urgent, isn't it, for people that can't
yes.
afford to get a lawyer or to get help or advice, right? Or anything.
Yes.
But
I just find, honestly, being with people who are willing to give their money and their time to worthwhile projects, those are the fun people. They're good to be with. They're really interesting to talk to and have lunch with and go to events with.
yeah, and I totally am with you. I'm on the same page with you. I don't have any talents. My mother was a pretty good artist, and she did drag me around. I should say drag, because I didn't like it at first, but then I started to love it, to art galleries and museums, and
Yes,
was
yes.
involved with those kinds of things. So I think it did rub off on me, because the last show I did for PBS was on the arts, and I was always looking to do, shows that had to do with the arts, and I would give them an idea at the station, they'd go do it. So I was very lucky for over 35 years.
Well, that was one of the fantastic thing for me about being in New York City was all the museums that we could attend. And I was a regular at the Met and at the MoMA and the Whitney, and an attraction down here in Miami were all the wonderful galleries, and Art Basel, which is a crazy scene, but you get to see such a variety of art. It's just, it's really an exciting place to live. I'm glad to be helping.
I don't think there's a city, in America, and I know somebody, if they hear me talking like this and they're from somewhere else, would disagree, but I don't think there's a city as maybe even as small and as interesting, because it's not maybe New York City, but there's so much going on here, that, and
Fun.
yeah, it's really a good place to live, and it is, as
Mhm.
you're an example, Jackie, it's a good
Well,
place to help others and to serve the
and we're
community.
so embracing, we're so welcoming. I mean, the fact that I could come here from New York maybe 10 years ago as a full-time resident and now be president of this organization. It's just, that doesn't happen in most places, that you're welcomed and people are really ready for you to become very involved.
Yeah, and I could go on and on about how you handle everything, because I've
Well,
seen
thank you.
how you don't handle with force or things if things go wrong. You're always very calm and you listen to everybody. You like to hear everything, and then you make a decision. But I commend you, because it does take a
Well, thank
lot of
you.
work,
Thank
and
you.
you're at practically every meeting I've seen. You're maybe all the meetings, but you're doing good work, and Funding Arts Network is really doing great
Well,
work.
and I mean, look,
So,
we have, we're successful because we have a board of people like you,
yeah.
and we appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. And you have really an amazing group of, a lot of people, like you say, a lot of people were professionals or are,
Mhm. Yeah.
and really committed to this, and they feel really good about this. So we could talk all day, I could see, but I think I've gone over my time, whatever time that is.
Okay.
It's not live TV anymore, so I don't get pushed off if, I go too long. But thank you so much,
Thank
for
you,
being
Meredith.
here, and thank you for all that you do for the community, the arts community. So it's
Thank you, Meredith.
good to see you
You too.
on Zoom.